All right, everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video with Fat Bill. And today, guys, I want to talk about how to determine what you farm next. I've covered this before, but I thought I'd do graphic, and I kind of would do this almost. This isn't necessarily this video isn't really going to cover as much about like the farming guide, right? Like it's easy to figure out what to farm next when there's a nice farming guide for you to do. But what happens when that starts deviating or when it's no longer applicable to you or that so much has changed in the game that you don't know what to do next? So, what I thought I would do is kind of cover how the areas you analyze to figure out what's going to benefit your roster and then take you through some criteria on how to get down to that list and figure out what's going to benefit you the most right now. So, let's get into our video, guys, right? All right, so you have your 5 areas of the game. So the first section I have is PvE, and I just have placeholders here for every single game mode. So like the first 3 characters here, right, are territory battles, right? Wat Tambor, Mundi, Third Sister. Like, do you need help in territory battles? General Veers is here as a placeholder for assault battles. Remember, guys, Imperial troopers can complete 2 different assault battles, which is super nice. It's going to help get you additional rewards that you otherwise would miss out on. And then Han is here as just a raid placeholder. Like, that's the PvE, right? That's what I consider PvE. Conquest, while also PvE, is much different than those. So, do you need help in Conquest? Are you doing okay? Like, that's the next area you can focus on, right? Like, what do you need to do to get better rewards in Conquest? The next 2 sections, right, we've got Fleet Arena and then PvP, right? Which PvP I kind of broke out into GAC, right, with obviously our king, Wampa. If you guys want to relegate, get this channel to 5,000 subscribers. So while we're here, make sure you smash that subscribe button, leave a like, and leave comments. All right, so yeah, your PvP, right? I break that out into GAC and then some territory war characters here. So you kind of want to focus on those 2 areas because territory wars is still important. There's a lot of rewards there that you can't get in GAC and vice versa. So you kind of want to marry those together. Right? Fleets, like, is obviously important in like a lot of game modes, but primarily saying like, you can normally hone in and say you need help in fleets. And then the last one, guys, is Galactic Legends. You see, Galactic Legends are one of those areas that they need called out separately because most of them will help in every single one of these aspects, right? In some way, shape, or form. Like Jabba, not so much in fleets, but remember, he does have the Smuggler's Run event, which the other Galactic Legends don't. So he's benefiting you in a way that the other GLs like just cannot. So those are the 5 areas. And those are the 5 criteria that you're going to keep in mind as you figure out what you need, right? So how do you determine what you need? And this is going to kind of, again, guys, remember, take into effect, like once you've gotten something big, right? Like how do you develop your farming plan, right? What's the next thing to do? So the first thing to identify is, do you have any general needs? What I call a general need is that you're just like, man, I just need more teams, right? That I'm struggling, like I don't have enough teams for combat missions or conquest, like I just don't have enough stuff. That's where these core teams come in. And I just have 5 characters here, bounty hunters, rebels, Sith Empire, Jedi, and then Padme for like Galactic Republic. Like, do you just need those core teams to kind of generally boost your roster up? That they're going to help in almost all of these ways in some way, shape, or form, right? Outside of like Galactic Legends, right? So they're going to help in 4 of the 5 areas. They normally require less investment, but their reward is still up there, right? They're very good rewards, right? They're kind of your safe options. And then you kind of have what I kind of call your specific needs. So the difference between a general need and a specific need is, up here you're like, I need help in every single game mode. Like if I get, Commander Luke Skywalker Rebels, I'm better in territory battles, territory wars, GAC. I can do an assault battle with them. You kind of start counting off all the things that they can do. The specific needs is kind of saying, hey, you know what? Like, I need a Galactic Legend. Like, that's where your GLs fit. GLs are not general. They're specific because of how expensive they are to farm. I don't know if you guys can see my cat back here, but she's kind of snooping around a little bit. Then you have like what I kind of Mundi here as a placeholder for territory battles. Are you struggling in TB? Are you not getting enough combat missions? Do you not have enough for operations? Star Killer's on this list as well. For GAC, guys, are you just really struggling in GAC that you need something to boost you there? And the way you can normally determine that, right, is if you have your core teams and you're still losing a lot, or just take a look at your GAC and figure out, do you need, whether it's a Star Killer or just another Omicron like Qui-Gon Jinn, Traya, something to boost you above and beyond where you are. Are your fleets hurting you? And you could use this as like a fleet arena or GAC kind of, like is not having executor crushing you, is not having profundity hurting you. Whatever the case is, figure it out, right? Understand the impact of like what are your fleets doing? And then finally conquest, right? Darth Malgus here is a placeholder that if you're struggling in conquest, understand what teams will help you get there. Like what part of conquest are you struggling in? Are you struggling to just complete nodes? Are you just running out of teams that you don't have enough stamina? Like what's the holdup, right? So, understand what that need is. Is it a more general need or is it a lot more specific to one of these game modes? Your next step is identifying options. Now, guys, just remember I use placeholders in all of my videos for stuff. So, like, I wanted to put down options that were legitimate for my account because I think that's going to be more beneficial for you guys to see the thought process through the eyes of my account rather than me trying to get into the eyes of yours. Because I could put in Supreme Leader Kylo Ren down here, but maybe some of you already have him. So you're like, oh, well, like, so just understand these are all placeholders, right? Just figure out what the needs are for your account and make your judgments from there. So these were my options, right? Dr. Aphra, Rey, Grand Inquisitor, Java, and Iden were kind of the things I had my eyes on as benefiting my roster, right? Iden primarily just for GAC. Grand Inquisitor is going to help me in territory battles and territory wars or PvP content. Jabba, again, that Galactic Legend, kind of like Rey, they're both going to help in a lot of those different ways. So I was kind of looking through all those different pieces, identifying what options were available to me. But then you need to analyze them, right? You can't just say, oh, I need Rey, so I'm going to go for Rey. Do an analysis, right? Just go through in your head, like, what's the stuff you need for Rey? For me, I had Ben Solo. I only relicked him up actually for Rise of the Empire operations, but I knew that Ben Solo would be a project for me to get Rey, which I was fine with. For Dr. Aphra, one of the things that kind of held me back a little bit was that Sana Staros really likes the rebel like tanks, like Captain or like Han's Stormtrooper Han and like Cara Dune, and I was a little bit nervous about having to invest in them on top of the characters for Aphra. Like I thought that was a little bit too much investment for me to do before some other stuff, right? Grand Inquisitor, right? With Third Sister, I'm going to earn Reva shards for my guild, get some help in other areas. Just they're very expensive, right? So I was looking at them from the gear perspective. And then Iden for GAC, the thing was I'd need to build her team. So I just have Stormtrooper as a placeholder for that. I needed that whole Imperial, like I couldn't just have them at like gear 10, gear 12 at my level. It's just not going to be good enough for what I need them to do. So I kind of was like, well, that's a lot of relics in characters that aren't needed for anything else. So then I came to Jabba and I was like, well, I'm going to have, the character for his fifth slot because the rest of his characters, just like Rey, the team you use for them is the characters you farm up a lot of times, right? So I had the team ready for Jabba. He was going to help me in every single game mode outside of fleets where I actually felt I was doing okay. So I analyzed my options and I developed my plan, right? And you guys remember this is kind of coming from my secret plans here where, I was like, okay, I'm going to get Jabba, I want to get Inquisitors, and then probably work on Aphra at some point. I took those, you analyze the options and you come up with the order that you think is going to benefit you, your roster, and get you to the end goal the fastest, right? And the end goal being, 100 million GP, whatever, right? That your end goal. So you develop that plan, and that's why I kind of make like a tab of okay, what am I going to be doing? What do I want to farm, right? And obviously, I told you guys this has already changed, right? That like I've completely changed this. So you develop your plan, and then you get to the last part of it, which is adapting that plan. The adaptation can happen. Maybe I get Jabba, and then I realize that what, I'd rather have Aphra, or maybe I get Jabba and think what, I just need Rey right now. You adapt the plan. So I've already adapted it that I'm still going for Grand Inquisitor, but I'm actually going to be focusing on Tuskens because my guild again needed another character for Rise of the Empire platoons, which was Boba Fett, Sign of Django. I need to Relic 7 him. So with the Tusken love that's coming, the new raid, I kind of was doing some thinking myself and was like, what? Let's maybe pay attention and see if we can nab some of these Tuskens that are coming into the game. So I've adapted that plan. After I get Jabba, I'm going to go all the way back to, you think, how do you adapt your plan? Come back to your needs. Are my needs general? right? Which, for me, I'm not so much in the general as much anymore, right? That it's a lot more specific for me that, like, if I was to go get Sanastaros' team, right? That's a GAC kind of team that you're going to help me there. Getting a Dash Rendar Smuggler team, GAC, the Dad Bod Boba team is Territory Wars, right? PvP. So what areas are those specific needs in? But then again, you'll come back here, I'll identify my options, I'll analyze them, develop my plan, and then adapt it accordingly. So that's the video, guys, right? That's the advice I want to give you guys is just, you know, take the steps through. Don't just, I think one of the biggest problems I see players make in this game is they see something, they're like, ooh, look, shiny Galactic Legend, and they don't think about how it's going to impact them in every single area. And a lot of times that could be people thinking that Jedi Master Kenobi is going to be their end all be all. But analyze your options, right? Do you have like Commander Ahsoka Tano to go with your Jedi Master Kenobi to make that team as good as it should be, or no? And, that's the analysis. The analysis isn't just where do they help you, right? It's what's involved in that team. What other things do you need to make that team click? So hopefully this helps you guys lay out your farming plans. Hopefully it gives you kind of a baseline to use, right? Just take the knowledge from this, guys. If I could like just cram anything in your head, right? It's take the knowledge from this and use it for your account, right? Marry up what you need, what you have, and figure out how you can analyze those options, develop your plan, and then adapt it as necessary, guys. That's the video. As always, like and subscribe, comment down below, and I'll see you in the next video. May the force be with you guys. Cheers.